All right, everybody, welcome back to another Corona Geek on Air hangout where we talk about everything that has to do with mobile development and using the Corona SDK development kit. All right, so tonight we're going to talk with Jordan Schuetz from Ninja Pig Studios. He's in studio here with us. Say hello, Jordan.
Hello.
And Jordan, now you got to tell me. You were telling me earlier, and I think we got cut off. What's the story behind the Ninja Pigs Studio name?
Well, Ninja Pig Studio name, it kind of started because in junior high, I basically made this drawing of a ninja pig, and when I started doing app development, I had to come up like with a name of like what I wanted to name my, company and like my developer name. So I ended up wanting to do something that was like memorable and something that people would remember and that like kind of appealed to little kids. So I ended up choosing the name Ninja Pig Studios, and like to this day, like everyone remembers the name. Like I just have to tell them once, and like they remember my company name. It's a memorable and like funny and humorous name.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah,
Yeah. You could certainly. There's enough boring stuff out there in the world. That's Ninja Pigs definitely nails it. So you do app development with Corona. Is that correct for everybody
yeah,
who's okay? So for everybody who's new to the broadcast, if you're not familiar with Corona, it's a development platform that allows you to create mobile apps across a variety of different devices, different platforms like Nook, Kindle Fire, iOS, Android. And Jordan, you've got what? How many? I mean, I see you're in just about every app store there is.
yeah. I am. I'm
How
on the Nook. I'm on the Kindle. I'm on the iOS App Store and the Android Market or Google Play.
so how many apps in total do you have out there then?
I think I have over 10. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
You'd have to count. I have different apps on each of the platforms. So
Okay.
I I think on iOS I have the Annoying Pig game, which actually was my first game that I ever made. Uh, and if you play it, it's a funny game. You basically it's like Helicopter. If you've ever played that old game, you just like tap the screen to go up, release the screen to go down, and you have to like dodge frying pans and collect coins and tornadoes, and it like increases your multiplier. And I don't know, lots of like I've given it to like other kids and they've played it and they all love it. They think it's really fun. Um, it's a really stupid but just kind of funny game. I
Is
don't know.
so is that for iPad, iPhone, or is it universal? What's the
Yeah, it's for everything. Like I think you can go on any app store that Corona supports and it's on there. Either I think on Google Play it's free, but then on like the other ones it's 99 cents. Yeah,
Okay. Well, yeah. So you take one app and you port it across the different platforms then.
exactly.
So really, when it comes down to it, I mean, you could say you've got maybe what you said 10 apps, but when they're spread out across all these different app stores, I mean, it really increases your surface area.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. So how long have you been developing apps then? I mean, if you've got all these out there.
I've been developing for like 2 years. I started when I was 16 and now I'm 18. So going
Fan,
on 19. Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah. And so you're in college now, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I'm attending UC Riverside for computer engineering.
Computer engineering. Is that what you want to do when you finish? Or are you just or is Ninja Pig Studios like the goal?
No, Ninja Pig Studios is just for fun, and it's paying for college, so it's kind of like my part-time job. It's just something that I do for fun, and it makes me some money. So I hope to go work for some company or do my own startup or work for a startup. Do not necessarily in games, but it can be in anything.
Gotcha. So do you enlist any of your friends to help you with artwork or any of that stuff like that, or you do it all yourself?
I do it all myself. Yeah, so I make lots of the artwork in Photoshop. I'll get stuff off the internet, like off iStock Photo, stuff like that. I do all the programming, all the marketing, all that. So
Okay.
I'm a one-man team.
So how do you market your apps then? What's your secret?
Uh, I don't know. Like I basically just released a bunch of apps on these different platforms, and in my apps I have a way to contact me. Like I have an email button,
Uh-huh.
and people send me emails. They tell me what they like, what they don't like. What problems are there in the game. Etc. Um, and then I basically just collect all those emails, and then when I release a new game, I can just send out an email to everyone. And what I do is I pretty much sit on my email all day, and I just reply to every single email that will come in. So every single person that emails me, they will get a response. And I think that's really important, is like communicating with your customers and making them feel like someone's actually listening to them. Because what lots of people say to me is they say, wow, I didn't think you were actually going to respond. Like they think it's just a bot, you know. They don't think that someone's actually going to respond. So when you do respond and you do, you know, communicate with them, it really means a lot, and that kind of keeps them coming back for more.
Gotcha. So you get a lot of responses then through the apps, you say?
Exactly, yeah.
Huh. So have you done other apps for like for clients or anything like that, or other people?
I've had offers, like people have offered me to do apps, but I never ended up really going through with them. Whenever I got an offer, they would end up either backing out or I would kind of back out, and then I would end up just creating an app because, you know, because I had time, and then it would end up being really, really successful. So it was actually better for me just to do my own thing. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's always easier to find a motivation for that too. Sometimes when when you're trying to fit somebody else's idea of what it should be, that can be a little frustrating sometimes.
yeah.
So what's your most popular app then out of all of those?
Right now it's IQ test. I mean, it varies like depending upon which month it is. But yeah, IQ test is really fun. It's kind of similar like the Moron test or like other things on iOS. But I kind of took a spin on what they did and kind of made it my own game. You basically go through, it's all these like silly challenges meant for kids, you know, but it's kind of meant for all ages, because like some of the things, they're play on words, you know, and people get confused, and it's something where people play it, they learn how to beat it, and then they go to their parents and they're like, hey, you know, try this out. And then the parents can't beat it, and then like the kids laugh at their parents because they can't beat this quiz, you know. And I try to make it as humorous as possible, you know, make like funny sound effects and everything, and everyone loves it. So that's my most popular. It actually was the #2 best-selling app on Nook, and it beat Angry Birds and like all those other games for a while. That was like up there for like a week, and then now I think it's like at like 15. It's like still, it's been up there for like probably like 2 months. So
Very cool. So Nook is that? I mean, why did you choose Nook to put your stuff out? I mean, it seems like I almost in my opinion, it seems like Nook is almost kind of a latecomer to the show, and Android's already got kind of things wrapped up on for the Amazon space, and then Google's covering and pure Android, and then Apple's iOS. So where's Nook fit in all that?
um, Nook is just a smaller market. I mean, it's still huge. There's millions and millions of devices sold, you know. Not everyone buys apps, but the way they've set up their like monetization strategy, I think is really smart. Everything's paid, and there's no way to make money off free apps.
Hmm,
So it pretty much makes it so people have to buy apps if they want an app. You know,
gotcha.
you can kind of use that to your advantage. You can make a free game. You'll get a huge audience. You know, tons of people will download it. But now the Nook market, it's becoming a little bit more overinflated with apps. It's harder to get visibility. That's how it is with all markets. Like you release an app, a few people might find it, but it will never get popular because you have to market it. You have to pay a lot of money to do that. You know, I was able to get on Nook in the very beginning, like pretty much the very beginning when it came out last year, and I was able to get my app out, and it was successful, and I was able to gain an audience and get all these users. But now it's kind of becoming more overinflated, so the people that already have the audience kind of are the ones continuing to make the money, and the people that are new, they're not necessarily doing that well.
Yeah, they have to work a whole lot harder to build that audience.
Yeah, and that's how it is on like Amazon.
Yeah.
You know, people who got on Amazon in the very beginning, you know, are really successful. And the people that aren't, you know, they're not successful. You need to be in that top 100 to even get any visibility and get any sales. And that's the way it is with, you know, iOS and Android. You know, it's just very difficult to get visibility. So I was able to get lucky, and I was able to get on early, and I was able to get that audience. So
Do you feel like Corona helped you get in there early?
yes, yeah. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be doing what I would be doing without Corona, because Corona enabled me to develop everything so fast and enabled me to port it to all these different platforms when like I would have had to do it all myself, you know. So it would have been impossible really to do without Corona, in my opinion, because I just didn't have the knowledge. You know, I was just a high school student. There are no classes. You know, you can't learn. You know, you can't learn how to make an app. You know, you'd have to go to a community college, and
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't have the time for that. So Corona was just super easy.
Yeah, and even things like Objective C and stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty high level
Yeah,
stuff. So, um, so you talked earlier about what I heard was this idea that you saw an app and then you made a version of it, kind of put your spin on it. Is that right?
yeah,
Now, so that kind of brings up the idea of traditionally people are very protective about, you know, like like if you had a brand, people would be very protective of that brand. So, you might get a letter from somebody that says, "Hey, don't, you look exactly like us." Like maybe a clothing line, or somebody saying, "Hey, you're confusing the marketplace." So, but I see on apps, there's more and more like people just seem to be putting apps out that are very similar to existing ideas. So, do you think that's a problem, or is that a good thing?
um, I don't know. Like, it might be a problem for the people that are making the millions of dollars, but for people like me who aren't, you know, it's good because that enables me to kind of sell more copies because people kind of want something similar, you know, because they see all their friends with their iPhones, you know, playing the latest game, but then they have these other devices and those games aren't on there. So they want something that's similar, but not necessarily the exact same. And I don't even like try to copy those games. Like I just think of what's fun for me. Like what do I want to create? You know, I want to create this game because I think it will be fun. And even though there's so many games and apps out there, probably anything I make is gonna eventually copy, you know, someone else's game.
Right.
So it's almost impossible to like, you know, say, oh, I'm copying this game when I'm really not. I'm creating my own game. It may be similar to something else, but you know, it's not like I'm using the same name or the same logo. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it does seem like with copyrights and trademarks and all this other stuff that there's such this cloud of restrictiveness. Whereas what you just described is, hey, I have a better way to do something that's being done, and so you create another version of that with a different spin on it. So it seems almost like more of a creative atmosphere like that.
Yeah. And like you look at Annoying Pig game, it's exactly kind of like the helicopter game if you've ever played those old, you know, arcade games.
Yeah.
It's an arcade game, but with like a character that's really funny and like different game mechanics that makes it fun. So it's kind of like a play on an old game, you know. So it's hard to say like, oh, this guy's blatantly copying this person when really it's something like if you actually play the game, you would understand like it's something completely different. Um, I kind of did it with this game. I don't know if I mentioned it. It's a multiplayer game that I developed. It utilizes a service called PubNub, which is located in San Francisco, and it basically is a real-time messaging service, and it's supported with Corona. So I was able to use that service and make a real-time multiplayer game where people draw a picture, and then it's like kind of like a chat room. So there's like a box where one person draws, and then there's like a chat window, and people basically type in what they think the person is drawing, and they do this all in real time. So it's like a chat room for drawing pictures. It's like a game, and it's really fun. People love it. It got tens of thousands of users, and it's really cool. In my opinion, I still go and play it. I'm able to see like the real time stats, like of who's playing in the U.S. You know, and it's cool to see all the little dots where everyone's located and all the games that are going on. So it's really fun. So
that's draw and guess, right?
yeah, it's draw and guess online. Yeah,
Now you say you can see how many people are playing. Is that through PubNub that you can see that? Or is it?
that's through PubNub, but that's something that only I can see.
Right.
But everyone else has a number, and they can see how many people are playing at the same time. So
So that's very cool. So is it? Have you are you trying to develop that out to where? I mean, are you monetizing that?
I had it free for a short time period to get users on it, and then I switched it to paid, and that's pretty much it. Now it's just paid, and
Okay.
so people buy it, and they have people to play with, and it's really cool. Like in the game, if like you guess a correct answer, you get a coin, and then those coins you can buy like profile pictures, or you can buy other things in the game, like different colors to draw with, and all that like makes people want to keep playing it. So
And is that all? Is that just on in-game currency, or are there actually in-app purchases that people can
no,
make?
just in-game currency. There's no in-app purchases for Nook. So
Gotcha. Okay, you said that earlier. Okay, yeah, that and I think that's an interesting concept that they're controlling the platform like that. Um, so which store do you like? I mean, you obviously like Nook, but what about? I see you've got like a ton of stuff in Google Play. Do you like their app store, or do you have any complaints about that?
no, I mean I like it. I know a few people that have had very successful applications on Google Play, and like I know they make a lot of money, but to get to that point, it's just super difficult and super hard. So I mean, all the apps that I pretty much release on Google Play right now, they're all free. I'll just put them up for free because I mean, on one of the apps, I have over 100,000 downloads um, on Google Play, and I just think it's cool to give it away for free on Android. I don't know.
Yeah. So do you try to monetize that in any way with ads or anything like that? It's
I,
just
yeah,
just a
I,
full-on.
I did ads. I did ads for a short time period. I made a few $100. I was like, eh, it's not really worth it. To have the ads, it's kind of annoying because I don't like ads personally when I play games. So I just took them out.
So, what do you think of a strategy where someone takes and, like you just said, they make these the apps just completely freely available, and then maybe they've got a few paid apps that they mention inside of their free apps or something like that, where they,
That's good.
yeah, you think that's a
Yeah, yeah. Cross promotion is probably one of the best ways, and that's how I was able to have successful apps is through cross promotion. So yeah, that's like the number one way. Even if you're cross promoting with other developers, it's a win-win for everyone. You know.
so build yourself up a portfolio of free apps and then have some core paid apps that are basically the bread and butter.
Exactly. Yeah, gain a user base.
Yeah. So now user base, it makes me think of I don't know, not necessarily the phrase, but I know on YouTube there's a lot of very popular YouTubers who every day they're kind of out there, they're producing content, they're doing this, and they're creating their user base. They've got their fan base. So do you use YouTube for any of the marketing of your apps and stuff like that, or?
I have some trailers, but no, I don't really use YouTube. Mostly all communication is through email. I'll do contests like when I release a game. I'll give away stuff. I have a bunch of stickers. I'll give away stickers. I'll give away, pig plush toys. Stuff to make people, want to buy the app and want to participate. It's fun. And like when I send people this stuff in the mail, like I'll just do it and they'll be totally surprised and I'll get an email saying like, "Oh wow, I received this. This was like so cool. Thank you." Because people don't expect to get something in real life from a game that they bought for $1. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's really cool. It's a cool feeling to be able to give that and have these kids that are like 10 or 11 just be so excited. Because I know how I would feel at that age. I would be super happy. So
Yeah. So how do you conduct your giveaways? What's
I usually just have like a form, like a Google Docs form, and then people just fill out their information. Some of them are spammy, but then I'll just delete all those and I'll pick randomly from all the people that submit the stuff, like with a random number, and then those people will get the prize. So
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's you reminded me of something I've I heard somebody do that once before, and I thought that was a great idea then. It sounds like a great idea now. We were actually looking to do T-shirt giveaways here on Corona Geek, so thanks for that. That's our first submission on ideas for doing
you
that.
should give me one.
Yeah. We'll see if we can hook that up. Did you go out and just like source pigs randomly? I mean, how do you? I mean, are they?
I made that on Photoshop.
No, 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 no. I mean, like
Oh,
the giveaways. Do you have like a warehouse full of stuffed pigs, or do you just like whatever's available at the local outlet
well, I
store?
think I went to like the Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
I bought pigs and then like made modifications to them and then sent them out. You know?
Modifications to them. How do you modify the dollar store pig?
Oh, I don't know. You just find a way. You have to make it unique. You know? Add like your little insignia on it or whatever. It's fun, and I include my stickers. And even if it's just from the Dollar Tree, people love it, and they got something pretty much for nothing. So, and it's really cool. Kids like it. So,
Yeah, and I would imagine in a way that's you're spending more than you received on in some instances.
yeah, but I always like give away less than I make, and I don't necessarily like give away a ton. Like I'll give away a
Right.
few things, because postage is really expensive. So I'll give away maybe like 5 stickers, here or there, and give away different things. But the amount of applicants I receive is actually a lot less than the amount of downloads I get because lots of people don't want to input their personal information. So I try to give away enough where it's fair and make an impact on people. So
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, and postage is expensive, and cramming those pigs into those envelopes, you wouldn't believe the noise they make. Right. Well, very cool. So I saw on your website, speaking of which, that you sell source code on there. Is that
that was something really no, that was something I did a long time ago. I have to update my website. I actually had a web designer work on it, and I'm in the process right now of like converting it over to the new website. So that's all old information. Yeah.
well, as an experiment, did it just not go anywhere, or you just didn't want to keep it up, or what's the?
Um, I yeah, I don't know. I didn't think that. Yeah, like no one ever really commented on it, so I just kind of thought, I'm not gonna do that anymore because I kind of that was like when I first started out and I didn't really have any kind of revenue, so I was thinking of ways I could maybe possibly make money. So that was one of the things, but it ended up just not going anywhere because my other apps kind of took off.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, just to put your attention someplace else. Yeah, I was just curious about that because I thought that would be kind of an interesting. Open up a whole library full of templates.
Yeah.
So, what advice do you have for other developers then? What's the number one thing the thing that you've learned that you want to share with somebody?
Um, don't get greedy because well, for instance, like when I started out, I wasn't even doing it for the money. I was just doing it because I wanted to make a game. I got an Android device like for a reward for getting good grades, when I was in high school, and I just was like downloading stuff and playing with it. And I just thought, how do I do that? How do I make a game? And that's how I started. So I just wanted to know, and I found Corona, and I started using it, and I was able to make a game like within a few days, and I just kept doing that. I ended up, and also another thing is you need to like communicate with other people and network. Go on the Corona forums, help people where you can. Also, like reach out and be like, hey, is anyone in my area? Let's meet up. Let's code. I actually, when I was in the Bay Area, there was someone who I would meet with on a regular basis. We had a code lab. More people ended up joining. We had like 5 people that meet at a coffee shop like every Sunday, and we all program together and like help each other out. And that's like the most important thing. You need to work with other people because you won't learn that way. And when someone else fails, they'll tell you what they did wrong, and then you can take that information and elaborate on it and like make your app more successful than theirs was, and then they can do the same thing with your app. So, and cross promote, all that kind of stuff, share code. It's a win-win for everyone, and you just kind of need to be social and try to get yourself out there in the community and reach out to people. So
Very cool. Is there any tools that you recommend that help you do that? I mean, is there like
your keyboard.
actually reaching out?
I think meetup.com. There are quite a few meetup groups, so try to join those and go to the Corona, sponsored events and try to meet people. Go on the forums and just be like, hey, I live in this area, like you live in Dallas or around Dallas. Be like, hey, is anyone in the Dallas area? Do you want to meet up at a coffee shop one time and just talk, about Corona and program or something? Uh, and go on Twitter, follow people on Twitter, be active on Twitter because that's like where almost all the developers are. Um, and the same probably on Facebook and everywhere. Just try to get your name out there in the community, you know. Doesn't
Right.
even matter if you have an app.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen. Seems like so many people are the Corona community is so open, and people are so willing to help. It's really encouraging.
Yeah.
Uh, so what about development tools though? Any kind of tools that you recommend to developers out there? I mean, it's like Dropbox or any kind of like GitHub or any. I mean, do you probably
Uh,
work solo, right? So you're not really working in a team environment.
yeah, I don't like GitHub is awesome if you want to like back up all your stuff because you can see the revisions, but I personally like I'm not using it right now because I'm not working with anyone else. Like, and I don't want to really put my stuff up open source when I don't like want everyone to get a hold of it and then just like take my code and post it, and make their own game out of it. So uh, I don't use that, but that's a really, really good resource if you're willing to pay for the private repositories. So that I would highly recommend it. But like for text editor, I use Sublime Text, and there's a plugin for Corona with all the APIs, and I think Sublime Text is by far the best text editor you can use. Really awesome. So I would use that. And Dropbox is cool, but really no need for it. Like the only thing I use Dropbox for is like actually to back up all my data on my computer. I just zip everything and then just throw it up on Dropbox. And one time my computer hard drive died and I lost everything, but the day before I backed it all up. So I was able to save pretty much all my data except some important things that were in some hidden directory that I forgot about.
Yeah. So you don't put all your data into like a folder and just let Dropbox do the synchronization. You make the effort to zip it up and put it into the folder.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I came across Sublime Text the other day. I was actually watching a YouTube video about someone who was using Luna Test or Luna for unit testing. And anyway, I saw them using Sublime Text, and I was like, "That's a pretty cool looking editor." And it has a bunch of features in it. Like it seemed like you could rename a variable one time, and it would rename it everywhere in your code.
Yeah, you do like Command D. You can like scroll through, find all like the similar things. You can do like Command Option W. It does all the like it kind of subdivides like in the window. You can have like 3 different documents open or 2 or 4. And be working all of them in like one window. So there's a ton of like amazing features about Sublime, and the way everything's colored is amazing and it's easy on the eyes since it has a black background. You're not staring at a white screen.
Very cool. So what's the future hold for Ninja Pigs? What are you working on right now? Is there something in the lab?
Um, I don't know. I'm just working on new games always. It's hard to like balance, app development with college, so I kind of put that on the back burner. But yeah, I'm always working on a new game. I always have ideas and I want to make new stuff because it's really fun and I enjoy it. And I love watching other people play my games. So yeah, always new stuff.
Well, very cool, very cool. Well, hey, tell us how people can get in touch with you. I mean, if they want to get in touch with you, I know they said that they could get to, they could, if they get your apps, of course, you can contact you through there. But what's the best way people can contact you?
Um, I don't know, just email me or call me or Skype me or whatever. I have on my website, ninjapigstudios.com, I have contact information. I think my email, it's ninjapig123@gmail.com or jordan.schuetz@gmail.com. I have multiple emails, so you can just find it all on probably Corona or on here, right?
Yeah.
So,
Okay. And I know you're pretty active on Twitter and definitely active on the Corona
oh yeah,
forums.
Twitter too. Yeah, and Corona forums too, yeah.
So you're pretty much all over the place.
I'm all over the place. All you have to search is Ninja Pig Studios. You'll have like millions of results.
All right. Well, all right. Well, very cool. Well, thank you for joining us today. We want to. I know your roommate is waiting on you to free up the space so they can come back in, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So thanks for being with us and share some insights here. I think I've got several tips here that I'm going to write up in a blog post for the community because you've got some great stuff there.
Yeah, well, thanks for like having me on the show. It's really cool what you're doing here, and you should keep it up.
Very cool, very cool. I appreciate it. Thanks. So stay on after, and we'll talk some more. But there you go. So be sure to check out ninjapigstudios.com. That's where you can find Jordan and all of his apps. And if you want to contact him for something, like you've said, he's open. He'll respond to you personally, and maybe even he'll send you a ninja pig. So, so thanks for watching. Thanks for being here on the Corona Geek. And until next time, have fun. Bye.